Welcome to our deep dive today. I am so excited about what we're going to be talking about.
Oh,
These excerpts from talks and writings by Abdul Baha during his travels to Europe and North America in 1912.
yeah, a really fascinating look
Yeah,
at a pivotal time in history.
yeah,
I mean, you have Abdul Baha, the son of the founder of the Baha'i faith,
right.
traveling the world championing peace and unity.
hmm
And these talks offer us just like a little glimpse into
Yeah,
his worldview and his teachings at this just time of massive change.
yeah. It's like we get to step back in time and have like a front row seat to this incredible journey. I've been looking over all this material, and it's so captivating.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about overcoming prejudice, the power of the human spirit,
hmm
the role of religion in the modern world,
Yeah.
and even
Even Abdul Baha's thoughts on lucky number 13.
yeah,
Oh, that's a good one.
yeah.
But maybe to start, let's talk about Abdul Baha's arrival in America
Okay.
after his incredibly arduous journey from Palestine.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, after enduring 40 years of imprisonment,
Oh my goodness.
he arrives in Montclair and tells the friends gathered there that his body can endure everything?
Wow. That is just mind-blowing to go through so much hardship
Right.
and still have that type of strength and resilience.
Yeah,
That's really a testament to his commitment.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And this theme of resilience, it just runs so deep
Yeah.
throughout all of his teachings. And it's just this powerful reminder that the human spirit,
Yeah.
it really can triumph
Yeah.
over the most difficult challenges.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of overcoming challenges,
Yeah.
let's talk about his vision of unity amidst diversity.
Okay.
In his talk at the Church of the Ascension,
Yeah.
he uses this beautiful analogy of a garden.
It's one of my favorite passages.
Yeah.
He describes this garden
Oh, yeah.
that's filled with flowers of all different colors, and each flower
Mm-hmm.
contributes to the beauty and the harmony of the whole line.
Mm.
And he says, humanity should be like that garden,
Oh, wow.
embracing our differences,
Mm.
recognizing that our diversity
hmm
is a source of strength,
Yeah.
not division.
What a powerful image and so relevant to the world we live in today.
Right.
Imagine if we could all just see the beauty
Yeah.
in our differences instead of fearing them.
Yeah, I mean, that was precisely his message, to see beyond the surface
Yeah.
and recognize that underlying unity
Yeah.
that connects us all.
Mm.
And, in that same talk,
Okay.
he makes this interesting observation about America.
Mm-hmm.
He praises its material progress,
Okay.
but he also notes that it needs greater spiritual balance.
That's so fascinating. And it really makes me wonder, over 100 years later, is that still relevant today?
Yeah.
Do we still need to find that balance between material and spiritual progress?
It's a question worth pondering.
Yeah.
Abdul Baha's teachings really emphasize the importance of both wings
Mm-hmm.
for true societal advancement,
Okay.
the material and the spiritual.
Okay.
He warned that material progress without that spiritual foundation
Yeah.
can lead to all sorts of societal problems.
Okay, so get ready for this next one,
Okay.
because this might seem a little counterintuitive. At the Bowery mission, Abdul Baha actually spoke about the spiritual advantages of poverty.
I know it seems like a paradox,
Right.
but what he was really getting at
Yeah.
is this idea that detachment from material possessions
Mm.
can lead to greater reliance on God
Okay.
and a deeper spiritual growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's about shifting our focus from the material to the spiritual.
It really makes you think about what truly matters in life.
Right.
And it challenges our priorities in a society that often equates wealth with success.
Absolutely. And this theme of detachment from
Yeah.
the material world, it's woven
Yeah.
throughout all of his teachings.
Mm-hmm.
He saw it as a key to spiritual liberation.
Yeah, this is where Abdul Baha's journey gets really interesting.
Okay.
He believed that his travels, especially connecting with people in America,
Mhm.
symbolized this link, this vital link
Yeah.
between the East and the West.
It's remarkable. When you think about it, over a century ago,
Right.
he was envisioning a future where these different cultures and societies would cooperate
Yeah.
and learn from each other.
Yeah.
He was talking about globalization before it was even a thing.
He was ahead of his time,
Yeah.
and it makes me wonder what he would think about our interconnected world today.
know.
Now, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about Abdul Baha's thoughts on inspiration.
Okay.
He really emphasized the importance of discerning between true inspiration, like, divine guidance,
Yes.
and potentially misleading thoughts.
Yeah, this is so crucial
Yeah.
and particularly relevant in today's world where we are bombarded with information from
Right.
all sides.
So how can we tell the difference
Yeah.
between true inspiration and just like
Yeah.
our random thoughts?
Well, he encouraged developing what he called
Yeah.
spiritual discernment.
Okay.
He stressed the importance of cultivating this inner wisdom and
Mm-hmm.
seeking the guidance of the Holy Spirit through prayer and meditation.
Okay. He taught that this inner connection to the divine
Mm.
is what allows us to distinguish between truth and falsehood.
So it's like we're developing an inner compass
Yeah,
that can help us point in the right direction.
exactly.
It's about learning to trust our intuition
Mm-hmm.
and seeking guidance from a higher source.
Yes.
Now let's talk about an event that really deeply affected Abdu'l-Baha during his travels,
Okay.
the sinking of the Titanic.
Oh, wow.
He actually knew some of the passengers
He did.
who perished in that tragedy.
It was a devastating event that really shook the world.
Yeah.
And while Abdu'l-Baha mourned the loss of life,
Yeah.
he offered this perspective
Mhm.
that kind of transcended the tragedy.
Yeah.
He spoke about those who were lost, being transferred from this temporary world to the eternal realm.
It's a perspective that offers so much solace in the face of such unimaginable loss.
Yeah.
It reminds us that there is this greater reality
Right.
beyond the physical world we see and experience. Exactly. And this belief in the immortality of the soul
Mm-hmm.
is so central to Abdu'l-Baha's teachings.
Right.
He saw death not as an end,
Okay.
but as a transition to a higher plane of existence.
Speaking of things that make you think about life and death,
Yeah.
Abdu'l-Baha also had some interesting thoughts about man's dominion over nature.
Yes.
He talked about how science demonstrates humanity's unique ability to transcend the limitations of the natural world.
And this is where we see his vision like leap into the future.
Right.
He was talking about these concepts that foreshadow our current conversations about technology
Oh, wow.
and its impact on humanity.
Yeah.
He seemed to really grasp this immense power
Yeah.
that humans have to shape the world around them.
With great power comes great responsibility, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He emphasized the importance of using knowledge and technology wisely
Okay.
for the benefit of all humanity,
Right.
not just for personal gain or for destructive purposes.
Yeah.
He was a staunch advocate for ethical considerations
Right.
in scientific advancements.
It's something we should all keep in mind as we grapple with this rapid pace
I agree.
of technological change.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on, I wanted to touch on his call for the equality of men and women.
Oh, yes. This was a subject he championed so passionately.
Yeah.
In fact, in a talk given in New York City, he cites powerful women from history,
Oh, wow.
like Zenobia and Cleopatra,
Yeah.
to refute those who claimed that women were inferior.
Right.
He saw the equality of men and women as absolutely essential
Yeah.
to the progress of civilization.
And he didn't just talk about it, he lived it.
Mhm.
He treated women with respect and dignity,
Yes.
and he empowered them to take on leadership roles in the Baha'i community.
Exactly. He saw the full potential of humanity regardless of gender,
Right.
and he called for those equal rights
Yeah.
and opportunities for all.
And to go even deeper, he challenged the very notion of what it means to be made in the image of God.
Yes, and he said it's not about our outward appearance. It's about our character.
Okay.
He taught that these inner qualities like
Mhm.
love, kindness, and justice are what truly reflect that divine image within us.
Oh, wow.
This has such profound implications for how we treat each other
Yeah.
and how we build a just and compassionate society.
He was really a visionary thinker
Yeah.
who connected the dots between spirituality and social change.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on, I just have to share one more thing from his talks.
Okay.
His take on lucky number 13.
Oh, yes. This one always gets a chuckle.
Yeah.
He completely debunked that superstition,
Right.
tracing it back to Judas being the 13th disciple at the Last Supper.
That is so fascinating. It shows that even amidst these weighty topics,
Yeah.
he had a sense of humor,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't afraid to challenge these unfounded beliefs.
Absolutely.
But speaking of challenging beliefs, let's delve into his powerful stance against war.
Okay. He was such an ardent advocate for peace.
Yeah.
He vehemently condemned war and all of its devastating consequences.
Yeah.
He saw it as this symptom of humanity's spiritual immaturity,
Right.
a failure to embrace the principles of love and unity.
Okay.
And he didn't just point out the problems, he actually offered solutions.
Okay.
He proposed creating an international court of arbitration
Oh, wow.
to settle disputes peacefully.
He was truly ahead of his time. Imagine if we had heeded his call for peace back then.
I know.
How different the world might be today. And,
Yeah.
his ideas about economic justice are just as relevant today.
Yeah.
He talked about the need to address economic inequality,
Mhm.
and he even proposed this system that provides for the basic needs of all
Yeah.
while maintaining societal order.
It's such a fascinating concept
Right.
that really anticipates so many of our contemporary discussions about
Yeah.
poverty and wealth distribution and social safety nets.
He envisioned a world where everyone's basic needs are met,
Yeah.
where poverty is eradicated, and where
Right.
prosperity is shared.
Yes, he truly believed in the power of unity and cooperation to create a more just and equitable world.
And it wasn't just about economics.
Right.
He also emphasized the importance of education.
Yeah.
In fact, he even talked about the need for a universal language.
He did. He
Yeah.
saw universal education as essential for human progress,
Right.
for overcoming ignorance
Yeah.
and fostering unity.
Mm-hmm.
And he believed that a common language would break down barriers
Right.
and promote understanding between nations.
It's like he foresaw the potential of the internet to connect people across the globe.
I know, right?
He was full of incredible insights and predictions.
Yes.
He even predicted the downfall of the Shah of Persia
Wow.
and the Sultan of Turkey.
It's true.
Wow.
His understanding of history and his ability to see into the future were
Yeah.
really remarkable.
But what's truly significant is his unique contribution to the Baha'i faith.
Yeah.
To prevent future divisions and misinterpretations.
Mm-hmm.
He actually established a clear line of succession,
Yes.
ensuring the unity of his teachings. He wanted to safeguard the integrity of his message and ensure the continuity of his mission.
Yeah.
And speaking of unity, I was really struck by his critique
Okay.
of the unproductive parliamentary debates in France.
I see that.
Yeah.
He contracted those debates,
Yeah.
often filled with partisan bickering,
Right.
with the Baha'i principle of consultation.
Okay.
He believed that true consultation involves seeking truth together in this spirit of unity,
Right.
not just asserting your individual opinion.
It's a powerful reminder of the importance of respectful dialogue,
Yes.
especially in today's often polarized world.
Yeah,
We could certainly use more of that
Yeah.
spirit of unity and collaboration.
I agree.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about one of Abdu'l-Baha's core teachings,
Okay.
the concept of cyclical renewal in history.
Yeah. He used this metaphor of spring and autumn to
Oh,
explain this idea.
okay.
He believed that humanity goes through these cycles of spiritual awakening and decline,
Yep.
much like the seasons of the year.
Okay.
But the good news is, he taught that we are now entering a new era,
Oh,
a spiritual springtime,
okay.
a time of great renewal and progress.
So there's hope for the future.
Yeah,
Even amidst all the challenges,
Yes.
we are on the cusp of a new era of spiritual enlightenment.
that's right. He saw this new era as a time of unprecedented unity,
Wow.
peace, and spiritual advancement for all humanity.
That is an incredibly inspiring message.
It
It
is.
gives me hope for the future.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to play a part in creating this better world that he envisioned.
Me too.
And speaking of spiritual advancement,
Yeah.
Abdu'l-Baha explained that throughout history, divine manifestations like Moses and Jesus have guided humanity
Yeah.
from darkness to light.
He saw these figures as beacons of spiritual guidance,
Right?
illuminating the path for humanity to follow.
Mm-hmm.
They revealed these eternal truths
Yeah.
that transcend time and culture,
Right.
helping us to evolve and progress spiritually.
Yeah. So even though they lived in different times and places,
Yeah.
they were all part of this same divine plan
Right.
to guide humanity toward its ultimate destiny.
Exactly.
That's a powerful concept.
It is. And it raises a question
Yeah.
that many people grapple with. How do we reconcile the different teachings
Yeah.
of these messengers,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they seem to conflict with one another?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Did Abdu'l-Baha offer any insight into that?
He did.
Yeah.
He taught that we need to distinguish between the eternal,
Mm-hmm.
unchanging spiritual principles they revealed
Okay.
and the specific laws and social teachings they brought for their time and place.
Mm-hmm.
He likened it to a tree
Okay.
that remains essentially the same throughout the year,
Yeah.
but changes its outward appearance with the changing seasons.
So the core truth is constant,
Right.
but the outward expressions of those truths may vary
Exactly.
depending on the context.
Yeah,
That's a helpful framework for navigating religious differences.
it is.
Now, you mentioned earlier that Abdu'l-Baha had a profound impact on Persian society.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about that?
So he really transformed communities in Persia by promoting unity and understanding
Okay.
among diverse religious groups.
Hmm.
He taught people to see beyond their differences
Yeah,
and to recognize that underlying oneness of humanity.
right.
His teachings had a profound impact on people from all walks of life,
Yeah.
fostering a spirit of love and harmony
Mm,
in a society that had been deeply divided
right.
along religious lines.
It's so inspiring to see the transformative power of his message in action.
Yeah,
It shows that even in the most challenging circumstances,
right.
unity and peace are possible when
Yeah,
people embrace these principles of love and understanding.
absolutely.
Now, before we move on, I just have to ask you about
Okay.
this one fascinating thing about his teachings.
Yeah.
The Mashriq al-Adkar, the circular Baha'i house of worship.
Oh, yes. Tell me what you're thinking.
What is so special about this circular design?
So he believed that the circular shape really symbolizes the unity of all religions
Oh, wow.
and the oneness of humanity.
Okay.
He saw it as his gathering place
Yeah.
where people from all backgrounds
Right.
could come together to worship God
Hmm.
and to promote harmony and understanding.
It's like this physical embodiment of his vision for a united world,
In a
a
day.
place where differences are celebrated and where people can come together in the spirit of love and fellowship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's even more fascinating is that he envisioned these houses of worship
Yeah.
as more than just places of prayer.
Okay.
He saw them as centers for social and humanitarian service,
Oh, wow.
places where people could come together to address the needs of their communities
Wow.
and to work for the betterment of society.
It's like a spiritual hub
Yeah.
radiating out into the community and inspiring positive change.
It is. That's such a beautiful vision.
And it's a vision that's being realized today
Oh, wow.
as Baha'is around the world build and maintain.
These Mashriq cars in their communities,
Yeah,
these buildings serve as beacons of unity and hope,
that's amazing.
inspiring people to work together for a better future.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired.
Me too.
We have covered so much ground in this first part of our deep dive,
I know.
and we've only just begun to explore the depth and
It's
richness
just the tip of the iceberg.
of Abdul-Baha's teachings.
Right.
There's so much more to uncover.
Yes. In the next part of our deep dive,
Okay.
we'll delve into his teachings about the nature of reality,
Mm-hmm.
the soul,
Oh, wow.
and the purpose of life.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. We'll also explore his vision for a future world
Mm-hmm.
where peace, justice, and unity prevail.
I'm looking forward to it.
Stay tuned.
Yes, be sure to join us for part 2, where we'll continue our exploration of the wisdom and insights of Abdu'l-Baha. Until then, let's all take a moment to reflect on what we've learned today
Yes.
and consider how we can apply these teachings in our own lives.
I love it.
See you next time.
Sounds great.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the life and teachings of Abdu'l-Baha. We left off talking about that Mashriq al-Aqar and its symbolism as a gathering place for people of all backgrounds.
Yeah, it's a beautiful representation of his vision for a united world. A place where differences are celebrated and harmony prevails. But this idea of unity runs even deeper in Abdu'l-Baha's teachings. He believed that beyond the material world that we see, there's this deeper spiritual reality connecting us all.
So it's not just about creating a more peaceful world on a physical level.
Right.
But it's also about an awakening to this deeper spiritual truth.
Precisely. He believed that true progress requires this inner transformation, a recognition of our spiritual nature. And this brings us to his teachings about the soul.
The soul, that's such a mysterious concept. What did Abdu'l-Baha have to say about it?
So he taught that the soul is a spiritual entity created by God and destined for eternal life. It's not something that dies with the body, but rather this immaterial essence that continues to evolve even after death.
So it's like a spark of the divine within each of us, something that transcends our physical existence.
Beautifully put. And he believed that the purpose of life is to develop and refine our souls, to draw closer to God, and to reflect his qualities in the world.
That makes so much sense. It gives life meaning beyond just these material pursuits. It's like a sense of purpose that extends beyond our earthly journey.
Exactly. He saw life as this process of spiritual growth, urging us to cultivate virtues like love, kindness, and justice during our time on earth. But Abdu'l-Baha also recognized the challenges that we face in our pursuit of knowledge and truth. He had some pretty intriguing thoughts about how we often approach the process of learning.
I'm curious to hear more about that. What did he see as the limitations of our usual ways of acquiring knowledge?
Well, he pointed out that relying solely on our senses, our intellect traditions, or even inspiration can be really flawed and can lead us astray. I mean, think about it. Our senses can deceive us, our intellect is limited, and traditions can become outdated.
That's true. So if we can't depend on these things, how do we arrive at truth? Where does this real understanding come from?
So Abdu'l-Baha believed that true knowledge is rooted in the guidance of the Holy Spirit. It's about nurturing a connection with that divine source of wisdom, allowing it to illuminate our minds and hearts.
It's like tuning into this higher frequency, opening ourselves to a deeper level of understanding.
Exactly. And remember, he emphasized the need to distinguish between genuine inspiration and these potentially misleading thoughts to develop that spiritual discernment.
Right. It's about learning to recognize the difference between the voice of our ego and that inner voice of truth and wisdom. But how do we cultivate that kind of spiritual sensitivity? Did he offer any practical advice?
He did. He recommended practices like prayer meditation, studying sacred scriptures, and spending time with others who are also seeking spiritual truth. It's about creating an environment that nurtures our spiritual growth.
So it's like we're creating this spiritual support system, surrounding ourselves with people and practices that nourish our souls and help us to grow. Now, one thing that really struck me about his teachings is this emphasis on action. It's not enough to just believe in certain things. We have to live those beliefs.
You've hit on a core principle.
Hmm.
He believed that true faith is expressed through our actions.
Hmm.
He would often say deeds, not words. He urged his followers to be actively engaged in promoting peace, unity, and justice in the world.
So it's about putting our beliefs into practice, becoming agents of positive change in our communities and in the wider world.
Exactly. And it's not just about these individual efforts. He also spoke about the power of collective action working together to transform society. He envisioned a world where people from all walks of life collaborate for the common good.
Now, that's a powerful vision, one that speaks to our interconnectedness and the potential for positive change when we work together. Now, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about Abdu'l-Baha's teachings about God. What did he have to say about the divine?
He taught that God is this unknowable essence beyond our limited human comprehension. We can't fully grasp the nature of God with our intellect alone, but we can approach that mystery through faith and intuition.
So it's about recognizing that there are limits to our understanding, that
Yeah.
some things are just beyond our ability to fully grasp with our minds.
And he emphasizes that while we can't completely know God, we can experience the divine through God's attributes. He compares God to the sun, whose warmth and light we feel, even though we can't fully comprehend the sun itself.
I love that analogy. So we experience the divine through these expressions of love, compassion, justice, and beauty that we encounter in the world.
Yes, and he taught that religion is meant to help us connect with that divine source and to reflect those qualities in our own lives.
It's about aligning ourselves with God's will, striving to become instruments of good in the world. Now, Abdu'l-Baha traveled extensively meeting people from all walks of life. I'm really curious about his interactions with religious leaders from different faiths. Did he engage in interfaith dialogue?
He certainly did. He met with Christian ministers, Jewish rabbis, Muslim clerics, and leaders from many other traditions. He really focused on the common ground between religions, those shared principles of love, unity, and the search for truth.
So he saw the potential for religions to bridge divides rather than create them, to build relationships based on shared values and aspirations.
Absolutely. He believed that true religion is a force for unity and understanding, and that interfaith dialogue plays this crucial role in creating a more harmonious world.
It's a message that resonates so deeply in our increasingly interconnected world where understanding across religious boundaries is more important than ever. Now, before we move on, I want to touch on his views about the role of government. Did he believe that religion and politics should be separate?
That's an interesting question. While he didn't advocate for a theocracy or for religious interference in government affairs, he firmly believed that ethical principles should guide political decisions. He felt that leaders should strive to promote justice and well-being for all citizens.
So it's about bringing moral and spiritual values into the political sphere without imposing any particular religious dogma.
Exactly. He saw the potential for faith to inspire ethical leadership and to contribute to a just and compassionate society, but without encroaching on the proper role of government. Now, as we reach this midway point in our exploration of Abdu'l-Baha's teachings, it's worth stepping back and reflecting on the broader implications of his message. What do you see as the enduring legacy of his teachings?
Well, it seems clear that he offered this blueprint for a more unified, peaceful, and just world, one where humanity recognizes its interconnectedness and embraces its spiritual nature. But how do his ideas translate into practical action? How do we move from these beautiful ideals to tangible change?
That's where the Baha'i community comes in, inspired by Abdu'l-Baha's vision. Baha'is around the world are actively working to translate his teachings into action. They're involved in a wide range of endeavors, from educational initiatives and healthcare projects to environmental sustainability efforts and interfaith dialogues.
So it's not just about these theoretical ideals, but about creating positive change, making a real difference in the world, building a better future brick by brick.
Precisely. And what's really remarkable is that this movement is grassroots, driven by the efforts of individuals and communities who are deeply committed to Abdu'l-Baha's vision. They're putting his teachings into practice in their daily lives and working together to build a world that reflects his principles of unity, justice, and peace.
That's inspiring to see people from all walks of life, from different backgrounds and cultures, united by this common purpose. It's a testament to the power of his message to transcend differences and bring people together. But as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm left wondering what we can learn from his life and teachings that we can apply to our own lives. We're all navigating our own unique challenges and trying to make sense of the world around us. What wisdom can we glean from Abdu'l-Baha that might help us on our individual journeys?
That's the crucial question. One key takeaway, in my opinion, is the importance of nurturing a spiritual perspective, of recognizing that there's more to life than just material pursuits. He encourages us to prioritize our inner growth, to seek that connection with our spiritual essence and with the divine.
It's about shifting our focus inward, recognizing the importance of cultivating those inner qualities of love, kindness, and compassion that he spoke about.
Yes, and another vital lesson is the power of unity. He reminds us of our shared humanity, urging us to overcome our differences and work together to build a better future. It's about recognizing that we are all part of one human family, interconnected and interdependent.
So it's about moving beyond the sense of separation and embracing a spirit of collaboration and cooperation. We can start putting these principles into practice right now in our own lives and how we interact with our families, our friends, our colleagues, and even strangers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about embodying those values in our daily interactions, choosing kindness over judgment, understanding over conflict, forgiveness over resentment. These small conscious choices have a ripple effect, contributing to a more loving and compassionate world. But, we've only just scratched the surface.
I know. I'm already looking forward to that final part of our deep dive, where we can explore even more of his teachings and delve deeper into his vision for the future.
There's so much more to uncover. Join us next time as we continue this fascinating exploration of Abdu'l-Baha's wisdom and insights.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the life and teachings of Abdu'l-Baha. It's amazing to think we've spent 2 whole episodes unpacking his insights.
I know, right?
And there's still so much to explore.
It really is a testament to the depth and richness of his teachings.
Yeah.
There's always something new to discover, another layer to uncover. And one theme that I've noticed that kind of keeps weaving its way through everything we've discussed is this idea of humanity's spiritual evolution. Abdu'l-Baha believed that we're not just these physical beings,
Right.
but we're also spiritual beings
Yeah.
on this journey of growth and development.
And it's not just an individual journey either.
Right.
He saw humanity as a whole progressing towards this higher level of consciousness,
Yeah,
evolving towards greater unity and understanding.
exactly. And he often used the metaphor of a garden to describe this process. Just like a garden grows and changes over time, moving from a seed to a sprout to a full bloom.
Right.
So too does humanity move through these different stages of development.
Okay.
And just as a garden needs the right conditions to flourish,
Yeah.
humanity needs certain spiritual conditions to evolve and progress.
So what are some of those conditions? What can we do to nurture our own spiritual growth and contribute to the advancement of humanity as a whole?
Well, Abdu'l-Baha stressed the importance of prayer and meditation as ways to connect with that divine source of wisdom and guidance. He saw these practices as essential for nourishing our souls and deepening our understanding of these spiritual truths.
It's like taking time each day to water the garden of our hearts,
I love that analogy.
creating space for reflection and inner growth.
Yes. He also encouraged the study of sacred writings,
Okay.
not just for their literal meaning, but for their deeper spiritual significance. He believed that engaging with these texts can open our minds to this timeless wisdom
Right.
and inspire us to live these more meaningful lives.
It's like finding inspiration and guidance from the wisdom traditions that have nurtured humanity for centuries, connecting with those universal truths
Exactly.
that transcend time and culture.
And another thing he highlighted was the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who are also seeking spiritual truth.
Yeah.
He felt that spending time with these like-minded individuals creates this supportive environment where we can learn from each other and encourage each other and grow together.
It's about building that community of support, a spiritual ecosystem where we can help each other flourish on our own individual journeys. You know, as we're talking about this idea of spiritual growth, I can't help but think about Abdu'l-Baha's own life.
Yeah.
He endured so much hardship, you know, from imprisonment to exile.
Right.
Yet he never wavered in his faith or his commitment to serving humanity.
His life is a true testament to the resilience of the human spirit.
Yeah.
You know, he faced every challenge with grace and fortitude,
Right.
never losing sight of his mission to promote peace and unity.
And his example is such a powerful reminder
Yes.
that even in the darkest of times, we can find strength in our faith
Yes.
and in our commitment to a higher purpose.
It's beautiful how his own experiences shaped his message.
Right.
And how he used his own life as an example of,
Right.
of how to navigate adversity with courage and compassion.
Now, as we approach the end of our deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the relevance of Abdu'l-Baha's teachings for the world today. You know, we're facing so many complex issues,
Here you are.
from climate change to political polarization to economic inequality.
Yeah.
Can his teachings offer us any guidance for navigating these turbulent times?
I believe they absolutely can.
Okay.
At the heart of his message is this profound call for unity, you know, for recognizing our interconnectedness
Right.
and working together to address these challenges facing humanity.
Yeah.
He believed that our problems can only be solved through cooperation and collaboration,
Right.
by transcending our differences and focusing on what unites us.
Like he was saying that we're all in the same boat, sailing on the same ocean.
Right.
And we need to work together to navigate these stormy seas.
Precisely. And he also emphasized the importance of developing a spiritual perspective,
Okay.
of recognizing that there's more to life than these material pursuits. He believed that we need to shift our focus from competition to cooperation,
Okay.
from self-interest to service to others.
So it's about aligning our actions with our higher values, with those principles of love and justice and compassion that he spoke about so passionately.
Exactly. He believed that these principles are not just these lofty ideals,
Right.
but practical tools for building a better world.
Okay.
He really saw the potential for humanity to create a world where everyone can thrive.
Wow.
A world free from poverty, war, and oppression.
It's a vision that fills me with hope,
Me too.
but it also makes me realize the responsibility we each have
Yes.
to play our part in creating this better world.
It starts with each of us.
Yeah.
It starts with choosing kindness over judgment,
Right.
understanding over conflict, forgiveness over resentment. It starts with embracing those principles of unity and love
Yeah.
in our everyday interactions.
Right.
In how we treat our families, our friends, our colleagues,
Yeah.
even strangers that we encounter on the street.
It's about letting Abdu'l-Baha's teachings transform our hearts.
Yes.
And inspire us to become instruments of positive change in the world.
Beautifully said. And as we wrap up our deep dive into the wisdom of Abdu'l-Baha, I hope you're leaving with a renewed sense of hope, inspiration, and purpose.
I know I am.
You know, his teachings offer a powerful roadmap for navigating the challenges of our time and building a brighter future for ourselves and for generations to come.
It has been an incredible journey exploring the depth and richness of his message.
It has.
And I want to thank you, dear listener, for joining us on this deep dive.
Yes, thank you.
May Abdu'l-Baha's teachings continue to inspire us all on our individual and collective journeys towards a more just peaceful and unified world.